So I am obsessed with making orcs and their 5-up shooting the best thing, trying to make it the best thing in the game.
Alright guys, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. We are going to be unboxing and talking a little bit about the Armageddon box. Now, this box has been out for a while now, so it came out in...
Late June.
Late June. So yeah, it's been out for a while now. We already kind of built one box, and we'll show off some of those models a little bit later. But we just kind of want to go over this box for those that are maybe on the fence about it, and show what some of our most favorite models are in here. So, you want to get to it?
Yeah.
Let's get to it.
So, a lot of people... they usually make these boxes right when the edition launches, and they are a one-time print, but GW makes a lot of these boxes too. Yeah. So they're going to be around for quite a bit, although they were only made as like a limited batch. So it's still a great box.
Yeah, right, there's a lot of good models in here, and like I said, this is brand new. I think the only thing I've actually opened in here is the bases. So we're going to go through everything. So this is our...
That's our Orc Weird Boy.
Orc Weird Boy, yeah. He's... definitely weird. This is my first experience with the orcs, and man, I like them. Like, they were one of my top contenders for my first faction that I was going to go with, my first army. And I look at some of these units, and I'm like, man, why didn't I go with them? We'll see some of them later on, but like the Weird Boy is one of the ones that is he's just that. He's weird.
Almost every model in this box, if it's not new, it is a redesign. So these are models that have like desperately needed remakes, and this box finally gave that to us. And the Weird Boy is the perfect example of them up-resing an older model.
Awesome.
And I just love the way they did with him, with all the weird cords and stuff coming out. What I want to do with mine is put little like wires between them, so it looks like there's lightning between all of it.
Awesome. That would look amazing.
Super cool.
Well, I like the new Captain sculpt.
Oh yeah.
He's one of my favorites. We've got one of those here. We'll show off here in a minute. That's done. But I really like him. I think he's a really cool sculpt. I love the way. Let's see if I can find him here.
Yeah, we've really only had one Captain with Relic Shield available to us for the longest time. So now there's options.
Yeah.
So he's got a new stance, and plus the one that we have now currently is a very unique pose where he's like holding his shield up front, but this one's way more like action pose, like he's actually fighting.
Yep.
So you can, if you want the more like regal styled, aura posing, you can get that one, but this one is more like ready to fight.
He just looks like he is ready to just strike down the nearest orc, and I love that. It's such a cool pose overall. So that's him and his sprue.
Yeah.
What else we got in here? Pick one of these out. Let's talk about it.
So, if we're talking about the captain, we might as well go on to the war boss.
Yep.
So, the war boss, this is probably one of the best upgrades they've done. One, because they finally upscaled a war boss to what a war boss should be.
Yep.
Grab him and put him next to the captain and show how big this war boss is. Because they always talk about the war bosses are supposed to be the biggest and the best, And the war boss we've had before is like this big. So now, finally, we have something that can live up to that expectation of what a war boss should be, and he's actually big.
He's looking here. Now, who wins that fight? Who wins that fight?
I mean, I'm an orc player, so I would say the war boss any day. But, the captain, captains, it takes a lot of metal for a space marine to become captain. So
it does, and he's got that finest hour ability where he could throw those extra 3 attacks, and they're devastating in there just for that one special.
That's fair.
Thing. So.
Yeah, if you have the ones for battle ability. The best way to figure out is to roll it out. So.
All right, so this is the...
that's the war track.
The war track, yep. This is a very cool model itself, too. I love how all the orcs have this kind of, like, almost steampunk, but, like, more garbage.
I call it junkyard aesthetic.
Junk punk.
Yeah, junk punk's a cool thing for that.
So that's a really cool setup as well. What else we got? Pick one of these things out of there.
So these are the... I believe, these are the 2 other characters, the Big Boss and the Banner Knob, which these are actually newer characters to orcs. I don't believe there were models for them before, and they're actually fully new units, and they're pretty much sort of characters that are less that are support characters under the War Boss. But they're obviously not just like a regular unit like boys or something.
And they look great too. Once you get them on one clip, they look really good. So
and just having more options with orcs, I think, is great.
All right, so
this one is these are the new Eradicators.
Yep.
So they're pretty much heavy intercessors with heavy bolters, essentially, instead of having those multi-meltas.
Yep.
Which I would say are pretty... It was kind of I wasn't expecting them to bring something like that, but I think it is really cool because it finally gives you an other option than Melt does if you want to bring some sort of anti-infantry action with Gravis armor instead of just going either heavy intercessors or straight to Meltas. You actually have an in-between now, and I think we have the
Ancient.
The Ancient
the
as
Ancient's
well.
on here as well, too. So the Eradicators they're not the standard armor, then? They're Gravis armor?
Yes,
Oh,
Eradicators are always Gravis
That's
armor.
awesome.
Yeah.
I did not know that. That's really cool to know.
And Ancient, I mean, we got the Blade Guard Ancients update back in Indominus. So other than that, I don't know. Other than the Terminator Ancient, I don't think there's been a regular Ancient upgrade for a long time. So that was another one that was kind of needed, and I'm glad they did.
And he's a support character, right? So
yes.
you add him in there with another hero.
Yeah,
he just kind of buffs. So that's kind of neat. He's not one of my favorite models, but I mean, he's cool. But
banners, Space Marines, the Imperium loves banners.
Also on here.
Okay, one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, this one is one of the best.
The Chaplain.
The Chaplain with a jump pack.
Out of all the models that needed remasters, the Chaplain was probably the most needed. Some people really love the charm of the old Chaplain, the old short Marine in midair, but I think the new upgrade they did for him was really good. A lot of people were doing a lot of kit bashing with their captains, or taking that footed Chaplain and putting them on like the captain and jump pack and stuff. But this is exactly what you need, especially if you're running Blood Angels and you're running a lot of those jump pack Chaplains and stuff. I think it's great.
He looks awesome. Like, it's probably one of my favorite sculpts in this box so far. I these three right here I really like, but out of the individual, models, I really like him. He's so dynamic, and with the skull face, just so cool.
Yeah, and it shows you they're trying to go away from flight stands, like having the clear flight stands. They really want dynamic poses on. And the cool thing about that is that if you don't like that rock, you literally just cut them off the thing and put them on your own.
Yeah, put them on whatever you want to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. So we have what I would consider probably my favorite unit in all of this box. I think it's so cool looking, and if I hadn't picked my faction yet, I would have switched to Orcs because of this. This is the Daka rig.
Daka rig, yep.
And Daka means kill, right?
No, it's guns. It's the roar of gunfire. Daka, daka, daka. It's like a machine gun. Daka, 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 daka.
That is awesome.
It's the sound. I love that. So that, in terms of rule of cool and in terms of actual gameplay, that is my favorite unit from this box.
Yep.
I am a Bad Moon player, so I am obsessed with making Orcs and their 5-up shooting the best thing, trying to make it the best thing in the game, which is hard, but it's doable, and the Daka rig really helps make that happen. Just look at that massive gun on the front. You've got the missiles at the bottom. It is actually a pretty decent unit in a game.
I love it. I think it looks so cool, and I said, like I said, the junk punk. It's like they went to a salvage yard and got everything they could and built it around.
They kind of just do that. The Orcs really do that. They literally take a bunch of junk, throw it together, and because of that sort of collective psychic will they have, they create these machines to work. Like, they force it to work.
Works.
Yeah, which is great. But yeah, it again, Orcs have been really focused around melee and stuff, but there has always been in the older editions that idea of that you can build out this sort of shooty Orc army if you wanted to, and it being a very specialized thing. And I'm really glad that they're giving some attentions back to shooting Orcs. So that's why I love it, and it really shows the kind of direction GW wants to go with Orcs. So
I love it. I think the sculpt is that's my number one in the whole box. That thing is just amazing. So, all right, so let's talk about one of the other cool vehicles in it. But on the other side, we've got this is it's a resculpt, right?
Oh yes,
it's a resculpt of the Land Speeder, which I think is a pretty neat looking model.
Yep.
It's nice. Like, if we were talking about this before that, it might be a little bit more exciting. But
it just harkens back to the old. It gives it a more classic Space Marine feel while still giving that Primaris upgrade it needs. Because the old Land Speeders were heavily firstborn, you could tell by how small they were and how small the guys were in it. And we've had the Storm Speeders for a while, which has been sort of fitting that niche in the game. But the Land Speeder just gives us that another option, and is that more classic look. I think in the game it's pretty good too. It's brought speeders back. I mean, people have still been using the different storm speeders for things.
Yep.
But I do think the shoot and scoot
Yes.
ability that this speeder has brought. I've seen that played in many more lists now, which I think is really cool because it's better than seeing 3 repexes all the time. You know what I mean? I'd like to see some more fast attack vehicles and stuff.
I like this. I've played it a handful of times in a couple of games, and I love the ability to be able to tuck it next to terrain, pop a bunch of shots off, and then you're able to just kind of go whoop right behind something, and it kind of forces the other player to go, well, crap, I need to deal with that, and they have to come get it essentially instead of just shoot it from far away. It's been a really, I mean, if 14 movement is that's fast.
Usually that's unlocked locked to Eldari and stuff. So the fact that a Space Marine vehicle now has that speed, it can be very, very flexible.
All right, so what do we got here? We got the Librarian, it looks like.
Oh, yeah, the new Librarian is
cool. These are the Vanguard Veteran.
Oh, yeah.
These guys are nice. I do like the Vanguard Veteran. I like the idea of the jump packs with this fun melee unit that just wants to come in and kind of eviscerate you. I don't really know too much about Librarians.
The Librarian, actually, there was a Primaris Librarian sculpt. It was a guy with a sword kind of shooting his thing out, or shooting a psychic ability. But this one actually we get a Force Staff now, which in older editions you've always been able to equip your Librarians with Force Staff, Force Axes, Force Swords, and stuff like that. So having another option of Librarian with the sort of Force Staff, and again it's more of that action pose, kind of like the Captain.
Yep.
I think it's just giving more fun options, and I think they wanted something to sort of mirror the Weird Boy in the box, as a sort of 2 forces kind of thing.
Gotcha.
The Vanguard Vets, however, isn't one of those things where it was kind of a must do for refresh. You needed it really bad. You had the old Firstborn Vanguard Vets, which a lot of people liked, but again, next to 90% other Primaris, they really needed them upscaled.
They don't stand out
so I really like the fact. My favorite one is the guy with the 2-handed sword.
Yeah. He's ready to go. All right, so one of the last ones we have. This is for the Imperial side.
Yep, just the bread and butter intercessor.
Yep, these guys, they got some resculpts for this too, right?
There's
a couple other new resculpts
they're kind of going towards the idea of mix and matching the sort of armor types of or at least the aesthetics of old armor types. So you have some of the some of the shin guards don't have the little circles on them. They have different style helmets from different marks of armor and stuff like that. And what I'm guessing is that they might try to do when the box comes out, the individual box that's separate from the Armageddon box and the new Intercessor kit will have lots of different options, is what I'm guessing. So I think they're trying to go towards that more customability within the Intercessors themselves.
And I think that's needed because Intercessors have always been the bread and butter, but they've always been a little boring. So giving them a little bit of a chance to be customizable it's kind of just one
bonus for sure.
One more way you can make your army yours. All right, and our last unit here, these are Da Boys. Now, again, not an orc player. I put some of these together, and they're basically the equivalent of the Intercessors for the orc side?
They're pretty much the main battle line force for orcs. Now, orcs have a few options nowadays. For that, they have the boys, but they also have the Snagga boys, which were updated about 3 or 4 years ago, I believe. But the boys sculpts have had a weird history. So they have this old boys kit that's the one current before this, which are almost, 20 years old, I think.
Wow.
And they made this one kit in between that was a push-to-fit kit, but it was very specific. You couldn't, there was 3 guns in it, and then the rest were choppas and shootas, and it was you couldn't make all fighting and all shoota.
Oh.
Now they're kind of going for giving all of them shootas and all of them choppas, so you don't have to really worry about that. And I believe that's going to be reflected when the individual kit comes out as well.
Nice.
But we finally have the orcs upscaled as well.
Yes.
And they finally look menacing, impressive, and ready for Crumpin', which I love the new orc sculpts, which is part of why it's so hard to find so many orc units right now, because everybody's buying them up because they're so exciting at this moment. So.
They do look good. I will say, if I had waited just a little longer and I waited for the Armageddon box, I would have probably switched to orcs because, man, I love Space Wolves. I'm going to stick with them. Clearly, that's going to be my jam. But orcs, they're just so cool looking. Between this and this, I was just so cool. So and I love painting the green skin too. It just looks really cool.
And I love the fantasy archetype mixed with the sort of science fiction setting too. So. And orcs are a clear indication of that.
Last but never least, the littlest guys in the battlefield, the Gretchen.
Oh yes.
Now, as again, not an orc player, still fairly new to this. For me, I don't know anything about these guys. I think that they're little goblins. They're really cool. Mm-hmm. Their sculpts are like very mischievous. So the Gretchen, so it's weird for me because like I look at this and this is the only unit I've ever seen with a 7-up save on it. Like, does that just mean they don't get to save?
Yeah, pretty much. But however, if they have anything, if you have an ability that will give you a better save, like some ability that increases the save, they can have it. But yes, it pretty much is saying that you were screwed if you get hit. Yeah, so which makes sense. Think about it. Literally, Space Marine, all has to do is kind of just kick until her to Gretchen. So it makes sense, but it shows you that kind of goofy mentality and horde aspect that they have. But the funny thing is, though, you still need the attacks to kill a Gretchen. So if you have a 20-man Gretchen blob, but you only have 10 attacks, that Gretchen, you're killing all 10 of those Gretchen, but you're not killing the whole squad.
Nice.
So that's why you still need attacks to kill them. So that's how they survive.
So they are chaff units.
Yes. Awesome. So there's a lot more than just models in this box, too.
How do you get this out of here?
Actually, we'll have to open it.
Yeah, we got to open it up anyway, so we'll pull her out. You want to move that box for me? Oh, let me get this. Okay. Go ahead and you want to talk about this? I'll go ahead and open.
So another good thing about the Armageddon box, though, is all the rules and companion stuff that you get in this box. So, they said Armageddon Box was going to be the one-stop shop to play 11th, and they weren't wrong. So you get not only the core book, but you get the new chapter-approved deck of cards with all the missions, dispositions, etc., everything, and secondary missions to play the game. So it's got that. It's also got the new Crusade rules. So if you want to do the new season of Crusade called the Dominus. And they turn it more into like a form of a card-based Crusade. Instead of having to do a bunch of bookkeeping, you'll draw cards to do different missions, to generate different missions, and depending on who wins the battles and stuff, you pretty much get different relics that are drawn, and then instead of having to like keep a bunch of bookkeeping, you just take a picture of the card you drew, and then next time you come back, you know what upgrade you have.
Okay.
So it's way easier. And then they also, the lore this time, instead of throwing, I think, a bunch of lore in with the core rulebook, I think they kind of separated it. So this book, I think, is only available in the Armageddon box, is pretty much an update on all the lore, especially Armageddon, who's there, who's fighting, how's it going, which front is which, and all the different forces and what they're doing, essentially.
Yeah, this is the artwork, everything in it, as you would expect.
Nice hardcover book, which I think is pretty cool.
Awesome.
And then, obviously, we get the build instructions that come with all the thing, but my favorite thing, and obviously the classic, the good old Bible. The Warhammer Bible, the core rulebook. Yep.
Something you gotta read 2-3 times. Make sure you got everything in there. Yeah, this is good.
It's nice and condensed now. It's easy to pull up when you're playing a game, when you need to check something. I do think they did a good job. They condensed it. They made it very precise. It's you just arguing over a rule, trying to figure something out. Just open it up real quick.
I love that, in a game so complex as this, that they've made it so easy to find things, like such good visual representation of the fight phase, that type of thing. I just think it's such a good setup that they have here.
Last but not least, this is just the so these are the data sheets for the units in the box.
Yep.
Now, as people have noticed, in the app, some of the rules aren't the same as these right now.
Yep.
That's what I believe. These are the rules that if you wanted to just if somebody was brand new to Warhammer, they bought the Armageddon box, let's play. They don't have to really worry about it. They can just use these data sheets and just start playing the game. And I do think it reflects what most of these units are going to be when their codexes come out. So when the Orc Codex comes out, the new rules for the boys will be in there, getting the specifically having both choppas and shooters and stuff, which aren't in the app at the moment. So not only is it giving us a good look into what some of the new data sheets are going to be, but it also lets people who are just buying the Armageddon box just play right out of the box.
So it's essentially like 2 combat patrols.
In a way, bigger, almost.
Yeah, bigger.
More points,
But it is balanced out in a way to where people could just play it and not have to worry that this side's just always going to lose to this side. Kind of thing.
Yeah. So, GW always will make a launch box for the new edition. There are always great deals. You can love them or you can hate them, but nobody can deny the value of the launch boxes for Warhammer 40,000 releases. They've always been good, from Leviathan to Indomitus to the ones before that. they've just always been good value.
Yeah, and it's a smart business decision on their part to do all this, to give you the ability to really play this game with you and your friend, or your coworkers, whoever it is. Just come in, show up, and this is an easy thing to do. You pick a side, I pick a side. You don't have to build an army. You don't have to go crazy about it. You just you put it on the battle mat and you play.
Yeah,
that's just what it's about.
I think that's kind of why some people argue that, like, the push to fit, they might be annoyed by the push to fit aspect because the lack of customization that you can do with that. However, like you were just saying, it's way easier for a new person to just grab it, put it together, and start playing.
Yeah, and so what I do on a lot of push to fit stuff is I just clip it off.
Yeah,
if you're an advanced player, you just clip it off.
And and any of you who do conversions, if you really can say that you can do conversions, you've converted push to fit models before. I've done it, and I know everyone else can.
Yep. There's plenty of models in this range where I have added something that I wanted for aesthetics looks.
It's totally possible.
Yeah, it's so again, I think this box, as well as the box that are going to be coming, are really good. I'm very happy with this. I've spent many hours clipping and sanding and painting and just putting these things together, and I started with the Space Marine side.
To go with your Space Wolves.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
And then I was like, these guys are cool, and then I went to this Orc side, and I was like, wow, these guys are way cooler.
Oh yeah.
But I did
come over to the side of the Wa.
Right.
Come serve Gork and Mork.
So yeah, if any of you guys are out there are looking to get into Warhammer, right now this is probably your best bet. You're gonna get two really flushed out armies, essentially, because the Space Marines have always been good. They're the poster boys, so they're always going to be good. They've got a tool that handles.
But they
everything.
are generic too. Yeah. You'll see Blood Angels on the box, but they are made to you can make them any chapter.
Yeah. So hence with my Space Wolves here. So and the Orcs are just, I don't know, they're just fun. They're fun to paint. They're fun to build. They're fun to look at.
They are. They're such a cool. They've got just enough. They add just enough goofiness to the game, but also they have that savagery to be an antagonist for the Space Marine, which I love, because people always forget too. Like, oh yeah, orcs are goofy. They're fun. They have funny Cockney accents. But imagine if you actually saw a marauding orc in front of you. Yeah, you'd be scared.
8 foot tall, 400-pound brute force thing that's carrying choppas the size of your head.
Exactly. It'd be terrifying.
So yeah, go pick up an Armageddon box and let us know what your favorite model is in the comments. Give us a like and subscribe. We'd love to hear from you. And thank you.